MTN Sports, this is Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
All right, Coach, how we doing? How are we feeling? We're getting into week 8.
Yeah, it's good to keep this train moving. You know, the bye week we talked about was going to be good for us, and it was. But to get back out playing and now have this stretch of consecutive games is where we want to be. And we position ourselves well at this point, but we got to keep it going.
Yeah, 24 straight home wins now, tops active streak in the nation since the Georgia Bulldogs were on the road, and overall the 200th win on that site. So some special milestones. No hardware for it, but still nice to see.
Yeah, I think that 200th win, I think that speaks to the program's success over time, and you know, I suppose the challenges of other teams coming in and playing at Bobcat Stadium, and you know, I think the 24th consecutive win, I think the sellouts through much of that is a big part of it. You know, our fans make it really difficult for teams to come in and play and function the way they want, and we need to keep that piece going.
All right, 18 straight sellouts now for the Bobcats, and they are 299 at 11th and Kagi over the last 50-plus years. All right, well, let's talk some of this game, the 59-19 win against Cal Poly. First and foremost, Tommy Mellott back, very exciting, 7 of 9 through the air, a couple of touchdown passes. How'd you feel like Tommy got back into the rhythm?
It went real well. You know, we were going to go in with a limited mindset as far as all the things we were going to do with him, and you know, the way it played out, he kind of did a little bit of everything at the same time. And in particular, functioning in that 2-minute drive before the half, you know, really felt like he played quarterback through that stretch. Had to make some plays with his arm, had to make a few with his feet, and then threw the touchdown pass to cap it off to Jared White.
And, of course, Sean Chambers still doing Sean Chambers' thing, both on the ground and through the air. I think one of the things that stood out has been his accuracy this year. Have you seen that? Is his accuracy a little more improved this year?
I suppose, and the throws for him have been more downfield. I think he gives us that big ball down the field a little bit differently than Tommy, and we've been able to connect on a bunch of those, you know, through this stretch. And you know, the credit certainly goes to Sean, but the protection and then the guys being able to make the plays on the other end is a big piece to it too. So, you know, Sean's continuing to work on his craft, and you know, I think we're seeing the results of it.
Yeah, I mean, you've been with him since he was at Wyoming, so you've seen his entire career. I mean, what is it? Is it he's a little more into the flow of the game, being the guy the last couple of weeks? Is it just something he's been working on, or is it just a confluence of a lot of events?
I think it's a lot of things. You know, I think his comfort level here this fall, I think, is considerably different than last fall. He was finding his way last fall, you know, got thrown into it, you know, as we got into that conference season, as the main guy did some really good things. We bring Tommy back, and then it was a little bit more of the same, playing more of that secondary role. I think this year, you know, having a spring ball, a summer, and a fall camp to add on to that experience from last season, I think he's just in a better place, you know, just with everything, and he's had this straight time through being fairly healthy at the same time. So, you know, we need him to play well, and he's doing that right now along with Tommy, and I'm excited that we have them both back together now.
Yeah, you know, now that you get the two of them together, everybody's excited about that, but how do you balance making sure that they both have a feel and a flow for the game? Because that's something you can't really quantify, and I'm sure a lot of fans don't totally understand it.
Yeah, I think it's way more art than science. I think you go in each week with a plan, a relative plan. You know, here's how we would like to use them individually, how we'd like to use them together potentially, and then if one of them has to go out, here's how it would look individually. I think you got to have all those different layers. Then in the game, as it plays out, I think, you know, for Coach Housewright in particular, it's just you know, really trying to strike a balance between you know, each guy playing, each guy being effective, and each guy being in the flow, which is easier said than done.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun challenge to have as we go forward. And they're both throwing to a lot of great receivers right now. Ty McCullough finally kind of had that snap count off, and we really saw him take off. His ability to go up and catch the football really shined this Saturday.
Yeah, I think two things. His ability to separate, you know, his speed showed up in a bunch of different plays, and then, yeah, his ability to go up and get it, catch it in traffic was great to see. And now we just got to keep him on his feet on one of those and get him in the end zone through the air, but really pleased with the step that Ty was able to make in this last game.
It was also fun watching Derek Snell make a couple of catches. He had the one catch coming out of the slot, making a snag over his defender, and then the other one just coming out as the fullback, ran over 3 different guys to get into the end zone. Must have been fun watching Snell do what he did.
Yeah, I know those early games we didn't get him as involved, but recently we have, and in all kinds of ways. And Derek, we handed him the ball once too as well, so I think his talent is beginning to shine, certainly. I mean, it's been there the whole time, but just our utilization of him, and he returned a kick as well. So, Derek's a guy that we need to touch the ball, and when he does, it's usually good things happen.
Yeah, Derek Snell, the running back, fullback, punt returner, and slot receiver, as well as tight end. The other thing I want to ask you about, one of the specific plays on this, Sean Chambers' third rushing touchdown, when he basically got picked up and carried into the end zone by Justice Perkins. That had to be just so much fun to watch, especially with the way Perkins celebrated after that play.
Yeah, and if you remember, it came after a third down that we failed. We get the roughing the kicker, so we get another shot. So it was almost like, between Sean and the O-line, they were bound and determined to make up for us not getting that first down previously. And yeah, it was a pretty unconventional way to get to the 9-10 yards, whatever it was. And I know a pretty fun play for that O-line.
No doubt. All right, we're going to take a break, but when we get back, we're getting into the Players Lounge. We're talking about some of the running backs that are here and who have been here as well. More of the Bobcat Insider after this.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Back for another episode of the Bobcat Insider, and within this, we've got the Players Lounge, and now it's Josh Perkins talking to a couple of running backs. He's talking to Elijah Elliott, Lane Sumner, and Brandon Van Cleve about some of their biggest hits and the crowd at Bobcat Stadium.
What was the hardest hit you received as playing running back?
It would be in practice. It was against Troy Anderson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Troy laid it in on you?
Yeah.
Why you doing like that, Troy? Come on.
Yeah.
Try to beaver head. Take it easy on Lala,
That was
right?
probably my hardest hit. I remember I fumbled and everything. So.
Everything. But that was your welcome to NCAA football moment right there?
Yeah.
What about you, Lane?
My freshman year, Tucker Yates.
Oh, yeah. He a pit bull right there.
Yeah, he looped free and he killed me.
Okay. Would you pop back up, though, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do. We pop back up.
Yeah.
And then go back on the sideline and lick the wounds.
Yeah.
What about you, Van Cleve? Do you remember your welcome to NCAA football moment or anything?
Well, I was actually, my hardest hit was in high school to another Bobcat, Pat Carahouse, and cracked back me in like a Thursday practice. And
Oh, really?
peeled myself up off the
Hey,
field.
wait, but you guys were teammates, right?
We were teammates. We had like a little scrimmage. It's like a bye week, and I'll never forget. I'll never forgive him for it either.
So, like, one of the good things, like, me and Brandon get a chance to experience is to play in front of these packed houses, right? Can you explain what that means to you, playing in front of this big crowd, playing in front of all those people, the excitement that it brings to the game day, the rodeo team leading you out, all those aspects of it?
Yeah, like back home, I never had anything like that. So like when I first came out here, it was just like shocking. Like, dang, all these people love football this much. So it's just like, it's cool, and it gives me that confidence and that swagger that I don't go out there and just put on a show, so it's just a cool feeling.
Yeah, it's the energy everybody brings.
Yeah.
How many people you played in front of in high school, maybe?
The most was probably maybe like 1,000 or 2,000 for a state championship, but nothing close to what we have here. And like I grew up coming to these games. We were season ticket holders since I was, young. So I was in the stands and looked up to those guys. So it's kind of come full circle.
Yeah.
It's really cool to be able to, run
that
out
guy
there.
out there
And then
now,
the
huh?
roar of the crowd. And I mean, our Bobcat Nation is the best around. There's a reason why we don't lose at home.
Well, Coach, fun hearing those guys talk about the crowds at Bobcat Stadium, because Lane Sumner and Elijah Elliott, they didn't play in front of those types of big crowds as they were coming up. When you have some players who are coming here either from small town Montana or even outside of the state of Montana, how do you prep them mentally for what they're going to witness when they come out of those big gray doors and they're being led out by the rodeo team in front of 22,000?
Well, rarely does anybody capture what we have in high school. I suppose maybe there's some places in Texas, high school football, that have the same amount of people, but the energy, I would say, it pales in comparison. So, I think you want to, explain it and say, hey, you know what, the energy in this crowd is going to feed you, but that energy, that emotion has to be pared down because you got to go out and play. And I think for young guys, that's, it might take a game or two to work through what that really means to them. But you running out the tunnel, I think you can have all that energy and emotion, and then you come off the sideline. I think you got to catch your breath a little bit, realize that it's still about what happens between the white lines. I know for those running backs, so I think the neat thing they get is when they break in the open, the roar that's there for them, and the success we're having in that particular play. I think that's got to be an amazing feeling, as they're running down the field and that volume just picks up. I know as a coach, you pick up on that certainly as our plays go well, and what the crowd, how the crowd responds to those plays is pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, really, even former Bobcats wouldn't be able to prepare you because this last crowd against Cal Poly was the third biggest crowd in program history. So it's a new rarefied air that we're witnessing right now. But all right, we're going to take a break. A little later, we're going to hear from Grace Lawrence as she sits down with Nolan Askelson and Danny Louis-Lakepa, and we're going to get you set for Sac State coming up this week out in California. More of the Bobcat Insider after this.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Back at the Bobcat Insider, getting ready for Week 8. It's Montana State and Sac State today, so this week. It's going to be a great week and a great game. And of course, you're going to need a lot of defensive work because they can really run the football. Great running quarterback, and two of the guys that are going to be a part of that are Nolan Askelson and Danny Louis-Lakepa. Watching those two guys, just their personalities kind of mesh. What's it like for you? Because it seems like they don't have the prototypical kind of linebacker type mentality week in or day in and day out.
Yeah, I think Nolan might fit that bill a little bit more with just his natural intensity he carries himself with. He's a very thoughtful person, but does play with a ton of emotion. I know. I think Danny's emotion kind of drives him. Very outgoing personality. I think as far as our team goes, those are two of our top leaders on the team. They play with a whole lot of passion, and I think to this point they're playing really well.
Now, how much does the coverage play that we've seen from your defensive backs allow that linebacker core to really just play free and fast and focused?
Well, if we're playing man coverage, those guys probably are in some regard too, or they're pressuring. I think what it does allow us, it allows us to pressure a little bit more, and Nolan and Danny are two benefactors of that with the plays they get to make. But yes, when you're playing man and you're dialed in from a man perspective at the linebacker position, it does just change your fits. It narrows your fits, and I think those guys have taken advantage of that so far this year.
Going to need it this week against Sacramento State. So they're a little bit of a different team. They lost their two quarterbacks, Dunaway and O'Hara. They both graduated. Cameron Scatabo, the Offensive Player of the Year in the Big Sky, he went and transferred to Arizona State. He's their lead running back and doing some good things over there. But Caden Bennett, their quarterback right now, what are some of the things he does? How does he run the football? How does he manage this offense?
Runs the football very well, so they do have that design piece that they had with O'Hara, and at the same time he throws it well. So what they had in two guys in the past 2 years, they have in Bennett. He throws it well. He can make the unscripted play in the passing game. I think that's what you see as much as anything, whether that's getting out of the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield and making a pass, or getting out of the pocket and scrambling for many yards. So we really have to keep him corralled, both in those design quarterback runs and then just in the pocket and get as much pressure as we possibly can. He's got good guys to throw to on the other end, so definitely a challenge. Just limiting their quarterback.
Yeah, and then their running back room is pretty deep too. Fulcher's their starting running back, but he's been out the last couple of weeks. Seems like a big body guy. And then number 6, Mullaney. He seems kind of like that Quincy Craig, like Waterbug, just tough to wrap up. What are they running out there in the running back room?
Well, 3 different guys, I think, and you get that change of pace mentality. As they're considerably different, and they've all been very effective and different than past years where Scatabo got the lion's share of the carries. It's pretty well split up amongst the 3, so you got to be ready for those different styles, and then even the different styles of runs that they'll separate amongst the 3.
On the defensive side, they had that great linebacker, Marte Mapu, who was drafted, in the 3rd round, highest ever draft pick at Sac State. He's starting for New England right now. But overall on the defensive side, who's kind of filled that vacuum? What are they doing on that side of the ball?
Well, I think it does start with their front. They got experience on the interior with those 2 players, and then I think Armand Bailey is one of the better linebackers in our league, and he's playing their Mike position. So they got a good front, and they play very disciplined, very sound, very disruptive at times. And they're the type of team that wants to keep the ball in front of them, tackle it, not take a considerable amount of chances. But we'll see what we get. It seems like each opponent we see tends to play those guys a little bit closer and leave us more matched up on the outside. So really respect the coaching that they have, the schemes that they run, and it's going to take a very good effort, offense, defense, and special teams for us.
Yeah, the Sac State's another team with a new head coach. A lot of new head coaches in the Big Sky, but most of those coaches have quite the pedigree. Andy Thompson, elevated from defensive coordinator, and a guy who won a national championship as a player at the University of Montana. But what have you seen in the way they've kind of meshed with Troy Taylor going to Stanford and Andy Thompson taking over?
Well, a lot of continuity. I think it's more about the players they lost maybe than the coach that moved on, because a lot of the staff staff remained. Coach Thompson had been there through Coach Taylor's time, and really this program had been built back up through that stretch. An amazing build, quite frankly, the success they've had through the last several years. So you see a lot of the same, a talented group that's well coached, and they play really hard.
That's the two reigning Big Sky champs getting ready to battle on Saturday. That's got to provide a little extra edge as you guys get ready this week.
Well, it's a big game. I think you certainly respect all that they've been able to accomplish. We haven't played them as a program since 19 and haven't played in Sacramento since 16. So there's a lot of unknown in that regard, but we know full well that they're a really good team, and we're going to have to play real well.
It's going to be awesome. So this is what it's all about, top 5 matchup coming up on Saturday. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, Grace Lawrence is going to find out who's the singer and who's the dancer between Nolan Askelson and Danny Louie-Lakepa on this episode of the Bobcat Insider.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Back in the Bobcat Insider one final time this week, and up next we get to learn a little bit more about Nolan Askelson and Danny Louie-Lakepa from Grace Lawrence.
Mar Johnson up the middle with a little bit of room. Oh, big time pop at the 40-yard line. Danny Louie-Lakepa laying the boom.
Obviously, as linebackers, I think we have to be leaders of the defense first, but also to be able to lead the team, I think, is another part of it. So it's awesome. I mean, I can lean on this guy, whenever I need to, on the field and off the field in the leadership aspect. So, yeah, I'm blessed to have him by my side.
What's your favorite part about sharing the field together?
Just the fun that we have. Like, I really look at Nolan like a brother. So, like, we just have so much fun out there, calling out everything, having fun when each other are making plays. Like, it's really exciting.
How do you guys play off one another?
I'm all hyped up, and then Nolan kicks back and tells everyone what to do, how to do it, gets everyone wild up too. So, like, I think it complements each other well.
I feel like we're both pretty natural leaders. I mean, I know for myself, and I could probably assume for Danny, he's been a leader his whole life, and nothing changed when he got here, and I think worked to put ourselves in this position.
I see on the field how much you guys have each other's backs. Where does the brotherhood come from? Where does the brotherhood build from?
I see how hard this kid works. I know he's not going to let me down. I know he's doing everything he can do to put this team first and make this team better. For anybody on the team, I know he would do that. So just seeing the way he works, being accountable year-round. You don't just show up on Saturday and decide to be accountable. You're accountable every day, and that's just how you build that trust.
The linebackers have a name, a motto. What do you guys call yourselves?
We got a few we've kind of played with. None of them have really stuck, I would say. I think this year we went with the Deadly Dozen because there's 12 of us. So.
Who thought of that one?
McCabe?
Yeah,
I think McCabe came up with it.
Yeah. What does Bobcat Nation mean to you?
It means everything, really. Coming out every Saturday and just seeing all the fans wild up, it makes us play better for sure.
That's every kid's dream. There's not a lot of colleges in the nation that get to play in front of a fan base like that. That's one, shows up, but two, gets loud. Every single game is on their feet all game. That's pretty rare, so it's a blessing.
Does it help you guys on defense when the crowd's in your favor at home?
Oh yeah, for sure. When they're loud, the offense can't hear nothing, so we hype everyone up too.
You guys hold the opposing offenses to an average of under 17 points per game, the most being 22 points. So where does that standard come from on the defense?
I think we set the standard through the offseason and expectations we set for ourselves, and then to go with those expectations, it's the way we go to work and the work we put in the offseason, the way we do that work. It's just, we don't do that work for nothing.
How do you guys keep the mindset dialed in post-bye week with kind of, the gauntlet of the road games coming up?
I feel like everyone's been waiting for this part of the season, really the meat of our season. So, like, everyone's been talking about the other teams and how good they are, but I feel like we're good too. So, really just showing up and showing everyone what we have and how we can do it too.
Only team left undefeated in the Big Sky after this weekend. How do you guys manage the target on your back?
I don't think anything really changes. I think we've had a target on our back the whole season, but at the end of the day, you just got to prepare for the opponent in front of you. Well, every team in the Big Sky is good and could beat you on any given Saturday, so you got to treat them all the same and make sure you're ready for each one.
What's one thing about each other that nobody knows?
Nolan's a great singer. We had a karaoke night. We were singing our hearts out, and Nolan was pretty good.
Can you give us a few bars? Were you gonna save it?
No, we good on that. I think I was up there singing. He was dancing, getting everybody hyped. Yeah.
So if football doesn't work out, you guys got a plan B.
Oh yeah, boy
So
band,
boy
for
band,
sure.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What would the name of the boy band be? Deadly Dozen?
Yeah, either that or like I don't know.
Tease up.
Yeah,
Tease
tease up. Good
big
lookings.
tease.
One or the other. Yeah. Shout out Bobcat Nation. Shout out Coach Vegan. Shout out Coach Daly. Shout out my parents. Yeah.